What's going on, guys? And today I'm doing a video of who should be the NBA All-Stars if the All-Star game was selected at this point. I'm doing this mainly as to see how this will change in terms of who I thought it would be, who it is now, and who it will be. It's a little midway point through the season. I know we're only about 20 games in, but I think it's a good point to mention it. So first things first, I'm going to do it in this format. The starters for each conference, then the reserves, and then I'll do some honorable mentions for each conference as well. So starting off with the Eastern Conference starters, I have Kyrie Irving, who's on the best team in the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers, averaging 24, 3, and 5 on some pretty efficient numbers. Kyrie is really important to this team, and he definitely deserves a spot. Next up is DeMar DeRozan, who's on the Toronto Raptors, who are pretty good, but he has had a phenomenal year, leading the league in scoring for most of the year. Even though he isn't right now, he's still averaging 35 and 4, something crazy to see from a guy that pretty much no one expected this to come from. Next up for a starter, Paul George. Now, while the Pacers have been struggling, there's no doubt Paul George has been a star this year, both defensively and offensively, putting up numbers of 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. Now, LeBron also is on the Cavs, and he is the most important player on the team and probably the most valuable player in the NBA at this point right now, putting up 23.5 points, 8 rebounds, and 9.5 assists. Both those rebounds and assists are career highs for him, so I think he deserves a spot on the team. Finally, at the center spot, I have Dwight Howard. Now, there might be other centers deserving of starting, but I decided to put Dwight Howard here as the Atlanta Hawks are doing really well, and also throw in the fact that he has been a huge reason as to why they've been so good. He's put up 14 points and 13 rebounds, as well as 2 blocks a game. The Hawks are second in the East, and he's having probably his best year since 2012 when he was back on the Magic. Now for the reserves. So, I try to do the same thing that the NBA does, where they have 2 guards, 3 backcourt, and then 2 miscellaneous for the reserves. So first things first, Isaiah Thomas. The Celtics aren't doing as well as I expected them to do, but they are still doing decently enough, and Isaiah Thomas has put up 26 points, 2.5 rebounds, and 6 assists, and he's doing pretty well all around, so I definitely think he deserves a spot on the team. Now, the Bulls are surprising to many people where they're doing a lot better than most people expected, and Jimmy Butler is a large reason why. He's put up 26 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 4 assists while shooting almost 43% from deep. He's truly a star, and he deserves a spot on the All-Star team. Now, Giannis Antetokounmpo can make a huge push to become a starter. However, he definitely deserves to be on the team. The Bucks are struggling, but he's leading them in all 5 major statistical categories, and he's averaging 22 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks per game. You can't shoot whatsoever, but that doesn't matter when you can put up numbers like that. Up next is Kevin Love. Yes, the Cavaliers get 3 players, but it's mainly because of how good they are and the fact that all 3 of them are averaging over 20 points per game. In a recent video, I mentioned I don't know any team that does that, but apparently it's the Cavaliers, with Kevin Love averaging 22 points, 11 rebounds, almost 2 assists per game, and he's shooting 42.3% from deep. And he's had a really, really good season so far, so he definitely deserves a spot on the team. Alright, and then for our center, our last big man, I have Andre Drummond. Some people might not like this, but the Pistons are doing solid enough. They're right in and out of the playoffs, and I think he deserves a spot, averaging 14.5 points and 13.5 rebounds. Now for the 2 miscellaneous, I have Kemba Walker and Carmelo Anthony. Kemba is averaging 24.5 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists while shooting 41% from deep, while Melo is averaging 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. Both guys I feel like deserve to make the team. I'm not 100% on Melo, so I'm not a huge New York fan, but I definitely think that all the guys you see here, outside of Melo and Drummond, are almost locks to make the team. So the honorable mentions I'm going to mention right now definitely should get some recognition, maybe an injury reserve spot, but is John Wall, Kristaps Porzingis, and Whiteside. Now, John Wall is averaging almost 23.5 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists, and 2 steals per game. Some crazy numbers, but the Wizards are absolutely garbage right now. That's the main reason why he's not on the team. Kristaps is averaging 21 points and 7 rebounds. He's regressed in terms of his shot blocking, but he's having a good season all around. It's just that I can't see 2 Knicks making it, but I feel like he might make it based off the popular vote. And then finally Hassan Whiteside, who might make it in front of Drummond. He's averaging 17 points, 15 rebounds, 2.5 blocks. He's in the league in rebounds, but the thing is the Heat aren't doing that well, but I definitely think he deserves some recognition. Alright, move on to the West. So in my backcourt, I have Russell Westbrook and James Harden. Both of these guys definitely deserve to make the team, and I put them at the starters because of their crazy statistical year, With Westbrook averaging just under a triple-double, his next game he needs to get 11 rebounds and he'll officially average a triple-double. But as of right now, rounding his stats, he averages 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists, something that we haven't seen since Oscar Robertson way back in the 60s. Now James Harden is doing some incredible things as well. He's averaging 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 12.5 assists per game, leading the league in assists as the new point guard for the Houston Rockets, and he's doing absolutely phenomenal. Now, both these guys definitely deserve some spots, and some might think that Curry or Chris Paul should start instead, but I just think because of their phenomenal seasons in terms of statistics, and they're both leading their team to huge victories, I think they definitely deserve to be starters. Now, next up are the forwards, and all of them are small forwards, power forwards. I know people want to put the center in there, but why not slip Anthony Davis in? So we have Kawhi Leonard averaging 25 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals, while being probably the best defense player in the NBA, or top 2 for sure, and leading the Spurs to undefeated on the road, something that many people would not expect, especially since how great they were as a home team last year and they've been dropping games at home, but regardless, he's helping the Spurs win. Then I have Kevin Durant, and even though I don't like Kevin Durant whatsoever, he is having a great year as well, averaging 27 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and over 1.5 steals and 1.5 blocks, while being incredibly efficient, 57.4% from the floor, 44.6% from deep. While he's not super great at the free throw line, and 84% from the line is amazing. If you can get that free throw rating up, or free throw percentage up, that will be a huge, probably never before seen season. And finally, I have Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is struggling he's doing well, but on a struggling Pelicans team, averaging 31 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks, while leading the league in points and blocks. He's an absolute animal, and even though they're not doing that well, it's not his fault. It's mainly the GM's fault. So I think that he deserves a starting spot. Now to go to the backups, I have Chris Paul, and even though I didn't think that he would be an all-star before the season, he has proven that he should be, averaging 18 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, and 3 steals per game. He's shooting over 43% from deep, and he's also leading the league in steals, as well as being the Clippers' best player with Blake Griffin. He's probably a little bit better than Blake, so he definitely deserves a lot of recognition there. Next, I have Steph Curry. Steph Curry is averaging 27, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists. Not as great as last year, however, last year was one of the greatest seasons of all time, shooting 50, 43, 93, so he's definitely in the 50-40-90 club, and he's having a great season all around. Next up, I have Blake Griffin, another great player on the Clippers, and I think that they deserve 2 All-Stars due to how good they are doing right now. I believe they're the best defensive team in the NBA, and Blake Griffin's averaging 21 points, 9 rebounds, and 4.5 assists, so he's going back to his old form where he's racking up assists and racking up rebounds, which is good to see. Next up, I have DeMarcus Cousins, who's averaging 28 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and shooting almost 38% from deep. Now, he's not a lethal 3-point shooter like guys such as, Steph Curry, but for a big man, that is incredibly respectable. So finally, from the last forward, I have Gordon Hayward. Well, he hasn't played a ton of games yet. He's the biggest reason why the Jazz haven't fallen off a cliff, as they have tons of injuries, but he has been solid ever since he has joined the team due to his broken finger and other small injuries. He's averaging 27-4 and is the true leader for the Utah Jazz, so I think he deserves some recognition. Now, next up, I have Damian Lillard and Mike Conley as the 2 miscellaneous. Lillard is averaging 28, 5, and 5, and he's being a really, really steady presence on the Portland Trailblazers. While they're not doing as well as maybe I expected them to, he is no doubt one of the greatest guards in the NBA right now and deserves some recognition. Now, Mike Conley, this is mainly because of the fact that he got that massive contract, as well as how good he really is. He's averaging 19.5 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists while shooting almost 48% from deep. Yes, that is true. And the Grizzlies are a top 4 team in the NBA. So he definitely deserves some recognition there. And I put him there instead of Marc Gasol, as I feel like he deserves him more. And quite truthfully, I'd rather see Conley than Gasol. Now, for some honorable mentions, I have the 2 young Timberwolves and Cat and Wiggins, where Towns is averaging 21, 9, and 3, and Wiggins is averaging 23.5, 4, and 2. Both are pretty solid players. However, I don't think their team's good enough to get him a spot in the team. Finally, I have Draymond Green, and while he's having a good season, I just don't like Draymond enough to put him on there, and he's averaging as many points or assists as last year, averaging 10.5 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and 1.5 blocks. Some great numbers, and maybe he should be on the instead of Gordon Hayward, but regardless, these guys are my NBA All-Stars for the season so far. So definitely let me know if you like this video. Definitely like, comment, share, and subscribe, and share this video however you want to. Thank you guys for watching. Of course, have a good day.